With reports of a temporary lull in fighting after the latest ceasefire went into effect over the weekend, the power struggle between the two military factions has placed the country on a destructive trajectory, with dire implications for an already fragile region.
The scale and speed of Sudan's descent into death and destruction is unprecedented. Without strong international support, Sudan could quickly become a locus of lawlessness, radiating insecurity across the region. Hundreds of civilians have been killed and many thousands more injured, and these numbers grow by the day. The situation in Darfur and Khartoum is catastrophic. Fighting is raging, with people attacked in their homes and on the street. Entire neighborhoods have no running water and limited electricity supplies, and more than two-thirds of hospitals near areas of conflict cannot function.
Guterres expressed particular concern over reports of gender-based and sexual violence and by the ethnic dimension of violence in parts of the country, including in West Darfur. He warned that targeted attacks against civilians based on their ethnic identities could amount to crimes against humanity. And as this conflict now enters its third month, more than 2 million people have been internally displaced, while close to 500,000 have fled across borders into neighboring countries. With humanitarian needs now extending to half the country's population of 45 million, as the UN appealed for more funds.
The people of Sudan and those of neighboring countries are shouldering the burden of this terrible crisis. We must do everything we can to support them. It's not only our duty as members of the international community, it is crucial to preventing the situation from deteriorating even further. Our humanitarian agencies and their partners on the ground are ready to step up their efforts. But funding for the Sudan Humanitarian Response Plan and the Regional Refugee Response Plan do not meet the scale of this emergency. Of the 3 billion needed, less than 17% has been funded so far. I appeal to you all today to provide funding to deliver life-saving humanitarian aid and to support people living in the most difficult and dangerous conditions.
As he again pledged UN support for African-led mediation efforts.
The only way to end this crisis is through a return to peace and the restoration of civilian rule through the transition to democracy. Sudanese people have made their wishes very clear, and I am a true advocate for African initiatives. And so the United Nations is fully committed to support the African Union and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development in their joint efforts to restore hope for a peaceful solution to this crisis.
The UN also announced it was releasing an additional $22 million from its Central Emergency Response Fund, bringing to $65 million it has released in total to mitigate the humanitarian needs in relation to the conflict in Sudan. Sherman Briceby's SABC News, New York.